Well, hey friends, welcome to my new channel. Yes, new. Just started it today, June 21st, 2025. Old Goat Reactions. And in this channel, we're going to be looking at news articles of the day, stuff that's going on. We're going to start right out by listening to a story about a poor young lady, 9-year-old girl who almost had her hand bitten off by a shark while she was snorkeling in Florida. Let's jump right in.
Officers' body cameras were rolling as first responders rushed to treat a young girl from an apparent shark bite. Her mother, Nadia Lindell, frantic as she recounted what had just happened.
And I could see her hand hanging.
Okay.
Like a piece and just blood everywhere.
9-year-old Leah's right hand bitten and almost completely severed. Witnesses running toward the screams of terror.
Tourniquet is applied.
You're being very brave. The attack happened last week on Florida's barrier island of Boca Grande. Crews airlifting Leah more than 100 miles for emergency surgery at Tampa General.
All right, I'm going to just pause it right here. First of all, she's very lucky that she didn't lose the hand completely. Apparently, the shark bit, let's see if I can get this in the camera, bit this way, straight on the end of her hand while she was snorkeling. And all of the teeth cuts, where am I in the camera, were right in this area. And so, yeah, she's very lucky it didn't just bite her hand off and swim away. In this case, they're going to be able to surgically reduce all the damage. And my guess is that she'll have a pretty good recovery from this. But still, nonetheless, scary as all get out. Young girl snorkeling, shallow water. There's a lot of sharks in the waters around Florida. Gots to be careful what you're doing.
Where on Thursday, she and her family shared the nightmare encounter for the first time.
I didn't see anything. I was just snorkeling.
Leah's hand now wrapped in a special cast to help reduce the swelling.
Something hard bit me and then it tried to tug me away. Then I started screaming with my mom and we ran to the road.
The bite cut through Leah's wrist, damaging critical tendons and nerves. Surgeons working for 6 hours to put her hand back together.
I was holding her hand in my hand, and I didn't think there was any chance at all of saving it.
It all comes amid a wave of new shark sightings.
Doctors
This one
are
seen in the
amazing.
waters off the coast of Fort Lauderdale Thursday, coming within feet of children and swimmers.
Yeah, you see that all the time in Florida.
And earlier this week in South Carolina,
12-year-old female suffering from an injury.
a 12-year-old girl was bitten off Hilton Head Island. Still, shark attacks remain extremely rare, with 28 confirmed unprovoked bites in the U.S. last year. Experts stress you're more likely to be struck by lightning than bitten by a shark.
All right, I take exception. I take real exception when they make these kind of analogies, because if you're at home, the odds of being struck by lightning are pretty nil because you're in your house. You have to be outside typically to be hit by lightning. By the same token, you have to actually be in salt water to be bitten by a shark. Well, no, that's not true. Let me back up. You have to be in water to be bitten by a shark. Now, most recently, they're finding that bull sharks, which can survive both in fresh and salt water, have been found like way up in the Mississippi River. So you know, even there's even conversation about them possibly having achieved being up in the Great Lakes, you know, Lake Michigan. It's possible. They have been documented, however, in the Mississippi River. So even if you're like way inland, swimming is swimming. So any body of water is connected to all the rest of the water. It all flows downhill into the ocean. So if it flows down, sharks can swim up as long as a sufficient volume of water. So I would not be surprised to see bull sharks swimming up in like the Hudson River. Of course, they tend not to go so much into cold water. They tend to like it to be warm, but still, to say that somebody could be more likely hit by lightning, I really disagree with any kind of general statement like that, because you actually have to be in the water in areas where there are sharks to get bitten. You're not more likely to be hit by lightning. If you're in the water where there's sharks, you're likely to get bit. Period. Now, are you more likely to get bit than get hit by lightning while you're in the water in shark waters? I guess that's the argument, but it's a stupid statement. Anyhow, let's go on.
Now, as young Leah recovers, doctors are hopeful her hand will regain full mobility. Her parents, grateful.
It's some sort of miracle that God did in her life that now she has a hand.
Wow. So glad she's doing okay. Now, Leah's medical team would not give an exact timeline or just how long her recovery is expected to take. But Leah says once she's all healed up, she's most looking forward to playing with her siblings. Her mom said Leah was born in Hawaii, grew up on the beach. So, guys, as frightening as this was, they're not going to let this incident keep them from getting back out on the water anytime soon.
There's no way. Glad she's going to be able for her. Thank you. Beautiful young lady. Thanks, Morgan.
Okay, so let's just address this for a moment because I'm a scuba diver. I swim a lot, and you have to realize that when you think about the state of Florida and the miles of beach that people are in swimming, tens of millions of people actually are on the sand, on the beaches, playing in the water. One person every, 24 in the last 12 months, 2 a month is statistically ridiculous, considering how many millions of people are actually in the water, in shark-infested waters, in places where there's lots of sharks. There are times, like on Florida's East Coast, where there's migrations of sharks that come through, and you fly overhead, you see literally hundreds of sharks along the beach, and there's people swimming and fishing out there with them. Sharks are much more apt to swim away from you. They're more afraid of you. In my scuba diving that I have done numerous times, I have swam along and seen a shark as it was shooting away from me because it wanted nothing to do with something as big as I am. They are, the old saying, they're much more afraid of you than you are of them. This is true when it comes to sharks, to a point. There are some larger sharks, hammerheads, tiger sharks, bull sharks, great whites, that are not so intimidated. But still, your odds of being bitten by a shark are pretty slim. But still, you're always going to have that in the back of your head. So, all right, friends. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little blip of history here. My heart goes out to this, little child that's been bitten by a shark, but maybe there's a lesson in that for all of us. So I hope you enjoyed that. Give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, ring, ding, ding the bell, so you get notifications next time I react as the old goat. Bad.